Are you eating what you believe is a healthy diet, yet still feeling tired, inflamed, gaining weight, or watching your health slowly drift in the wrong direction? What if I told you that the foods most people associate with longevity aren't the real reason some populations live well past 100, sharp-minded, energetic, and disease-resistant? Here's what's really going on inside your body. Longevity is not about a single superfood, a supplement stack, or a trendy diet. It's about how your daily food choices interact with your metabolism, your immune system, and your body's built-in repair mechanisms. And that insight didn't come from influencers or diet books. It came from Nobel Prize-winning science. Over the last several decades, Nobel researchers studying aging, cellular stress, and disease resistance uncovered something surprising. The longest living people on Earth don't eat more. They eat strategically. Their diets quietly activate internal survival pathways that lower inflammation, stabilize insulin, protect DNA, and keep blood vessels young. This matters because aging is not just about the passage of time. It's about accumulated metabolic damage, chronically high insulin, constant inflammation, oxidative stress, and a sluggish immune system quietly accelerate aging long before wrinkles or diagnoses appear. Fix those root causes and the body does something remarkable. It repairs itself. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a high-performance hybrid engine. It can run on different fuel sources, but it performs best when it switches efficiently between them. Most modern diets force the engine to run in one inefficient mode all the time. Sugar burning, inflammation promoting, repair inhibiting, longevity-focused eating flips that switch back and forth in a way that keeps the system clean, flexible, and resilient. What the research shows is that certain everyday foods, not exotic, not expensive, send powerful signals to your cells. These signals turn on longevity genes, strengthen your immune defenses, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce the biological wear and tear that leads to heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and cognitive decline. And here's the twist. These foods are often not what people expect. It's not about eating more protein shakes, more health bars, or constantly snacking. In fact, some of the most powerful longevity foods work precisely because they create brief, healthy stress inside the body, the kind that makes you stronger, not weaker. In this video, I'm going to break down 6 science-backed insights drawn from Nobel Prize-winning discoveries and modern metabolic research. You'll learn what to eat daily, why timing matters just as much as food choice, and how to activate your body's natural longevity programs without medications or extreme diets. And if this kind of root cause science-first health education is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you take control of your long-term health naturally. Here's what's really going on inside your body. And this is where most people get longevity completely backwards. For decades, we were told that living longer was about eating perfect foods more often, keeping blood sugar constantly stable, and avoiding anything that felt like stress. But Nobel Prize-winning research revealed something radically different. Your cells don't get younger when life is easy. They get younger when they're challenged just enough. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a city. Every day, waste builds up. Damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, broken cellular parts. If the garbage trucks stop running, the city doesn't collapse overnight. But over time, everything slows down. Inflammation rises and systems fail. Aging works the same way. That cellular cleanup system is called autophagy. And in 2016, Dr. Yoshori Osumi was awarded the Nobel Prize for uncovering how this process works. What the research shows is that autophagy is one of the most powerful anti-aging mechanisms we have. It recycles damaged components, improves metabolic efficiency, and protects against cancer, neurodegeneration, and immune decline. Here's the key point most people miss. Autophagy does not turn on when you're constantly eating. Every time you eat even healthy food, insulin rises. Insulin tells your body we're in growth mode. Growth is important, but constant growth without cleanup accelerates aging. Think of it as always building new rooms onto a house without ever repairing the foundation. Autophagy turns on when insulin drops and energy intake pauses during fasting windows overnight, or when meals are strategically spaced. Now, this doesn't mean starvation, it means intentional gaps. Long-lived populations like those studied in Okinawa and Sardinia didn't snack all day. They ate simple meals, stopped eating before they were full, and gave their bodies long overnight breaks. Without knowing the word autophagy, they were activating it daily. Here's a practical protocol you can use. Start with a 12-14 hour overnight fasting window: dinner at 7 p.m., breakfast at 9 a.m. This alone begins activating cellular cleanup. Avoid late night eating, late meals. Keep insulin elevated when your body should be repairing tissue and regulating hormones like melatonin and growth hormone. Keep morning meals protein forward, not sugar forward. This stabilizes insulin and prevents shutting autophagy down too early in the day. Now, let's connect this to longevity. Autophagy doesn't just clean cells. It improves mitochondrial efficiency, meaning your cells produce more energy with less damage. That translates to better focus, stronger muscles, healthier skin, and slower biological aging. This is why many people notice improved mental clarity and energy when they stop grazing all day. It's not magic, it's metabolism. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day, breaking complex longevity science into tools you can actually use. One more important nuance: exercise amplifies autophagy, especially resistance training and zone 2 cardio. Movement creates microscopic stress that tells the body we need to adapt, and adaptation is the foundation of youth. The takeaway from this section is simple but powerful. You don't live longer by eating more often, you live longer by giving your cells time to clean, repair, and reset. In the next section, we'll talk about a second Nobel-linked insight that shocks many people: why controlling insulin may matter more for longevity than calories, fat, or even genetics. Think of insulin as a storage hormone. Its job is to move nutrients out of your bloodstream and into tissues, muscle, liver, fat. That's essential for survival. But here's what the research shows. Chronically elevated insulin is one of the fastest ways to accelerate aging. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When insulin is high all day, from frequent meals, refined carbohydrates, or constant snacking, your cells stay locked in growth and storage mode. Growth mode sounds positive, but biologically, it suppresses repair, increases inflammation, and drives oxidative stress. Over time, this contributes to insulin resistance, visceral fat accumulation, hormonal disruption, and faster cellular aging. This is why two people eating the same number of calories can age very differently. Longevity is not just about how much you eat, it's about how often insulin is triggered. Nobel Prize winning research on aging pathways like mTOR-MPK and insulin signaling shows a consistent pattern. Lower well-timed insulin exposure is associated with longer lifespan across species: yeast, worms, mice, and humans. Let me simplify that. mTOR is your build and grow pathway. EMPK is your repair and recycle pathway. Insulin strongly activates mTOR. When mTOR is always on, EMPK never gets a chance to do its job. Aging accelerates. Now, here's the misunderstanding. Most people try to fix this by obsessing over calories or eliminating fat. But the real lever is carbohydrate timing and food quality, not deprivation. Here's a practical protocol you can use immediately. Eat carbohydrates after protein and fiber, not alone. This slows glucose absorption and lowers the insulin spike. Compress eating into 2 to 3 real meals, not 6 to 7 mini meals. Every eating event is an insulin event. Choose carbs that come or polyphenols and fiber: berries, legumes, lentils, intact whole grains. These blunt insulin response and feed your gut microbiome. Walk for 10-15 minutes after meals. This simple habit can reduce post-meal glucose by up to 30%. No gym required. Now, here's where longevity gets interesting. Lower insulin doesn't just protect metabolism, it protects your blood vessels, brain, and immune system. Insulin resistance damages the endothelium, increases clot risk, and accelerates cognitive decline. This is why type 2 diabetes is associated with increased Alzheimer's risk, sometimes called type 3 diabetes. But here's the empowering part. Insulin sensitivity is reversible. Within weeks of improving meal timing, reducing ultra-processed foods, and moving after meals, insulin signaling improves, energy stabilizes, cravings decrease, fat loss becomes easier without willpower. If this resonates, make sure you're subscribed, because in the next section, we're going to cover one of the most counterintuitive longevity discoveries of all: why certain plant compounds act like exercise at the cellular level, even if you're not athletic. This is where food becomes information, not just fuel. Here's what's really going on inside your body when we talk about food acting like medicine. And this is one of the most overlooked longevity mechanisms in modern nutrition. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your cells are like a house. Over time, trash builds up, damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, broken cellular parts. If the trash isn't taken out regularly, the house starts to break down faster. In biology, that cleanup process is called autophagy, and it's one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging. Now, here's the surprising part. You don't need extreme fasting or intense exercise to activate autophagy. What the research shows is that specific plant compounds called polyphenols can switch on the same cellular repair pathways. This discovery comes directly from Nobel Prize winning work on autophagy and cellular recycling. Polyphenols mildly stress your cells in a good way. This is known as hormesis, a small stress that makes the system stronger. It's the same principle behind exercise. You stress the muscle just enough and it adapts. Foods rich in polyphenols activate EMPK, inhibit overactive mTOR, reduce inflammation, and enhance mitochondrial efficiency. In plain language, they tell your cells to clean up, repair, and function younger. Some of the most powerful sources include extra virgin olive oil, green tea, dark berries, cocoa, coffee, cruciferous vegetables, legumes, and lentils. Notice something important here. None of these foods are extreme, none are exotic, and none require restriction. Longevity isn't about punishment, it's about biological signaling. Now let's clear up a common mistake. People hear plant compounds and think fruit juice, smoothies, or processed health foods. But when you remove fiber, you remove the benefit. Fiber slows absorption, feeds beneficial gut bacteria, and allows polyphenols to reach the colon where they're converted into even more powerful metabolites. Here's what's really fascinating. Your gut microbiome doesn't just digest food, it creates longevity compounds from polyphenols. These metabolites reduce systemic inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and protect DNA from oxidative damage. So, if your gut health is compromised, even a perfect diet won't deliver the full benefits. Here's a simple, realistic protocol. Aim for 30 plus different plant foods per week. Not per day, per week. Variety matters more than volume. Include at least one polyphenol-rich food per meal. Olive oil, drizzle, berries, herbs, spices. Small additions make a big impact. Avoid ultra-processed foods labeled plant-based. If it comes in a package with a long ingredient list, it's not helping your microbiome. Eat slowly and chew thoroughly. Digestion starts in the mouth. Poor digestion equals poor nutrient signaling. Now, here's the big takeaway. Longevity foods don't add years directly. They remove the friction that accelerates aging, inflammation, insulin resistance, oxidative stress, and impaired cellular repair. And this is why people in long-lived populations don't obsess over macros. They eat simply, consistently, and in ways that support cellular cleanup every single day. If this is making sense so far, stay with me because next we're going to talk about a daily habit that outperforms supplements, biohacks, and even genetics when it comes to living past 100. And almost nobody is doing it correctly. Here's what's really going on inside your body when it comes to how often you eat, not what you eat. Most people assume longevity is about superfoods, but the research keeps pointing to something more basic and more powerful, metabolic rhythm. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your metabolism like a city. During the day, traffic is moving, deliveries are happening, energy is being used. At night, the city needs quiet hours, time for repairs, cleanup crews, and maintenance. If traffic never stops, the city degrades faster. Your body works the same way. When you eat constantly, snacks, late dinners, grazing, insulin stays elevated. And when insulin is high, your body cannot access fat, cannot repair efficiently, and cannot enter deep cellular maintenance mode. Here's what the research shows is critical for longevity. Daily periods of low insulin, not starvation, not extremes, just structured breaks. This is why timer-restricted eating consistently shows benefits in blood sugar control, inflammation reduction, mitochondrial health, and even gene expression linked to aging. Here's what's really fascinating. Even Nobel Prize level aging research shows that cells need time without nutrients to activate repair genes. This doesn't happen during constant feeding, even if the food is healthy. Now, this is where many people make a mistake. They try fasting while still eating late at night, sleeping poorly, and stressing their nervous system. That cancels out many benefits.